Hello and welcome to HypnoTalk. I'm Troy Parkins and I'm here with our friendly hypnotherapist.
I'm Janna Colasso. It's so nice to get to sit down and have a little extra time in the afternoon and share Valentine's Day with everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
It is Valentine's Day, isn't it? I got
It
myself some flowers
Oh,
for self-love.
beautiful. Awesome.
How about you? Okay, so Valentine's Day.
I was
Let's
looking
talk
for my
about it.
balloon. It's around here somewhere.
Oh,
Apparently
did
it
you
went
get
into
yourself
the
a
other.
balloon? Oh, cool.
I actually did not. It was snuck into the house and given to me by my favorite admirer, and it says "I love you" on it. It's a beautiful, big old heart-shaped
Awesome.
balloon.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Good. So, how did that make you feel?
I felt wonderful, but I'm so happy that I'm 60. I just turned 60. And there's this weird wise thing that started to happen where the balloon was like sprinkles on my cupcake. You know what I mean? But I would have been happy if I never got anything. And nowadays, I don't even remember it's even Valentine's Day. I don't think, oh, I hope something great happens, or I hope that I'm acknowledged in a certain way. Like, I don't know about you, but I remember when well, probably not you, because you're a dude. But
I'm a dude.
I know, and I've got beliefs about men are different. But I remember being
We're from
22
Mars.
or something and thinking, I wonder if I'm going to get an engagement ring, you know, or I wonder if he's going to remember. And then my mind would go into, well, if he doesn't remember, that means that I'm not that important to him. And, and there would be this, like, I'm wondering if anybody's ever had one of those horrible senses of foreboding as Valentine's Day starts to get closer and closer and closer. I don't know, if it all goes well and we have a good day, then that means this. And if not, it means that. And those days were such a self-imposed trap for me. I had no clue that it was all completely unnecessary to do any of those things.
So let me ask you this. We could probably make up here that others who are watching this right now are having those ongoing conversations in their head.
Yeah.
Sounds much like attachment. Is that what you're getting at? Are people too attached to what should happen on Valentine's Day?
If I could go back and take my little magic carpet ride back in time to the me I used to be, what would I have said to her to get her to understand that her worth was what was on her mind? It wasn't about the other person. It wasn't about whether they loved her or whether they were going to commit to her. All of that to the me I used to be was an underlying I'm not good enough belief. Therefore, if you, this Prince Charming character over there, gives me just the right attention in just the right way and says just the right thing and commits to just the right amount and brings me just the right flowers and gives me just the right diamond size, then I'll feel comfortable. And if not, I'm going to be terribly upset. And I
very much attached. There's a lot of attachment to the right way, the right diamond size. I hear that.
But it's not about the person. And it's not even about love. It's about, am I worthy? Am I good enough? Am I lovable? And the best thing that could have ever happened to me was to not get any of those things year after year after year. Okay. Even though I prayed on all my birthday candles, please let this year be the year that he, the universe was like, no, because you don't even know if you even like him. You're just wanting some sort of validation that you don't need because you're already enough.
Okay, so this voice in your head, quite powerful, telling
Mm-hmm.
you all these things. Now you can speak from you, or I don't know if you've coached people. You're a professional with this kind of stuff. How would you
Yeah.
coach someone on quieting that voice, or even shifting that voice to say something such as, "There is no attachment. There should not be."
Yeah, that's tricky, actually. It's because the underlying belief is the person usually walks into my office when things aren't going well. Nobody's in the midst of the greatest relationship in the world and walks into my office and sits down and say, everything's great. Hypnotize me now. No. They're like, he hasn't texted me in 20 minutes. I can't believe it. He's not leaving his wife for me. I don't understand. Maybe he's still hung up on her. I don't know what's happening. That's what it sounds like.
Hmm.
Or some variation thereof. And
so then what do you do? How do you break that conversation? Because those conversations are very powerful. And as you know, humans they attach to the negative.
Number one is to start to notice that those aren't new conversations. Chances are that person, even if they're only 20 and they've only had maybe 2 or 3 relationships, that same set of feelings and thoughts was there in those other relationships too. May have been there with dad. We don't know. For those of us that are a little longer of tooth, the characters change, but the stress level, not necessarily so. The inner thinking, not necessarily so. There's only one place where there's any control, and that's in what we make up about what that person is or is not doing. If we're giving that person the power by their either actions or inactions to hurt our feelings, to determine whether it's going to be a good day or a bad day, the problem is in we're giving that person power. And we don't need it. The pain, and I remember the pain, I remember the worry, I remember the stress, I remember the pit in the stomach and the throat tightening and not being able to eat until I figured out whether he loved me or loved me not. That pain was caused by my belief system, not by him.
Because you are the boss of you, as one person I know so astutely said, that you can control you, you can't control someone else.
Right. If I have an underlying assumption that their actions validate me or their actions invalidate me, then I'm not clear that I'm fine as I am. And the one thing that I do is help people go back. When you're a baby, this isn't a problem. On Valentine's Day, when you were in kindergarten, you were very excited about cutting out the piece of construction paper and finger painting, and Valentine's Day, you were going to get chocolate and candy, and all your friends were going to exchange Valentine's. It was going to be awesome.
Candy hearts, Janna, candy hearts. Love them.
We had good Valentine's Days before we started to make up stories in our heads that it validated our relationship or it validated our identity. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it's the age-old transformational discussion, isn't it?
Yeah. But most people
responsibility, power, the voice in the head from before, looking at something attached, driving your car out the rear view mirror instead of the windshield out in front.
Yeah. And I'm waiting until the future commitment comes, then I'll feel loved and secure. Rather than, I could be loved and secure right this very second if I didn't have the belief that that person is going to give me that feeling. The horrible, sick to your stomach, out of control feeling, in my point of view, comes from the belief that that person is going to give me that feeling. And as soon as we reach a milestone in our relationship and he wants to have a baby with me, then I'll feel okay. And, or as soon as he wants to marry me, then I'll feel okay. But then they get in the marriage and then there's a divorce, and the freedom that was supposed to come from, I feel lovable now and I don't have to worry any longer, suddenly is, I'm trapped.
And yeah, and you know from doing this work that that is one of the most difficult avenues to overcome with anybody, because of we're humans
Yeah.
put attachments on things. If I get this, then this will happen. Then when this happens, then I need that. If I get that, then, and it's an ongoing string unless you're complete with you.
Yeah. And any depression about being by yourself, and right now, who isn't alone some of the time? Any depression about, I remember my roommate back when I was in my 20s, and she loved being alone. I would walk home and she'd be sitting in front of the fireplace, writing out letters, drinking a glass of wine, listening to music, and her alone time was just, oh, it was wonderful. And some of those alone moments, she had someone she was dating. Some of those alone moments, she was single. But I watched her like a person would watch a very interesting zoo animal. And I thought, how in the world are you doing this? I want what she's got. I want to have a beautiful day, whether I'm dating someone or not, whether I'm got plans for the future that are panning out the way I think they should pan out or not. What if I could, how does she do it? And the way she did it was she just didn't have that belief that she wasn't enough, that she needed validation. And I noticed too that when she would date people, she'd get very close very quickly. She was really appreciative of that close connection. Sometimes things would work out with guys and sometimes they wouldn't. And she would experience her experience. And sometimes it was high and sometimes it was low, but she always came back to being okay. And it's taken me a lot longer to reach that place. But what it does for the other person when you are in a relationship is the biggest gift, because who wants to be responsible for somebody else's self-esteem? Oh my goodness, it feels heavy. It feels like they're needy and clingy. It feels like you're damned if you do, and it feels like you're damned if you don't. That whatever you say or do isn't good enough because it's being seen through this lens of, I need you to validate my okayness and all my comfort comes from you. So the lack of a belief.
That is definitely an onion to keep peeling back, because you do get down to that, and it's relationship dynamics. It's humans. There's a lot to talk about.
The hypnosis part of it is once we get to, oh, wouldn't it be great if, and I think this is what you were asking me before, how do you get someone from here to here? Wouldn't it be great if he could do all those things and you could have the best day ever? And they'd be like, yeah, I don't know how to do that. But having that be the goal. So now he either will or won't commit, but that's not the goal. That's nice if it happens, but it's not the goal. The goal is, I want to feel spectacular regardless of whether he commits or not. And when we can decide to go there, then in hypnosis, we hypnotize that in. We start to do processes that people can experience themselves literally letting go or breaking a visual image that represents that attachment. We can have images that come in and fill the person up from the inside, and then a realization that fulfilled feeling has been there this whole time. Like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, where she wakes up and she's been home the whole time, surrounded by loved ones the whole time, and everything she wanted, she was already there. She just didn't realize it. She was in a bad dream.
It was a pretty scary movie with those monkeys.
Yeah.
You know, bringing up what you just said reminded me of one of my favorite Simpsons episodes. So I can't remember if it was Marge's birthday or Valentine's Day, but Homer gets Marge a gift, and it's a bowling ball, and it's inscribed Homer on it. Marge doesn't even bowl. So he gives it to her, and she says, oh, a bowling ball. So the question would be, what would it look like if Marge, I can't remember how she reacted. I think she got mad at Homer, but what would it look like if Marge was super happy with that because she really didn't need the bowling ball with Homer engraved on it, nor need the thought around it that she was okay anyway?
Yeah. It's the fact that Homer even remembered to give her a gift at all in his limited way, it can be so cute and charming. Yeah. It reminds me of my kids when we used to, back in the VCR days, and I would get for Christmas, when they were just old enough to start to pick out their own gifts for mommy, I would always get videos that they had wanted to watch. I would, for Christmas or my birthday, I was constantly receiving, you know, The Lion King or something. And I would be like, it was hysterically funny, but it was charming and endearing.
Yeah.
And I didn't need, because they were children, I didn't need any more. I didn't need them to give me anything at all. The best thing I could do was just be, oh, we're going to have so much fun watching this together. You know?
Yeah.
And just enjoy their childhood and enjoy that as a funny story. A great way to, if there's stuff that you like, I have a cousin, and I'm not going to say her name out loud, but if you know me, you know her. And she was hysterical because she was constantly not being satisfied with the gifts that she was given for Christmas and that night and whatnot. So she would go out and buy things like diamond earrings for herself. She would go do all of that, hide it, and then slip it into her stocking from Santa Claus on Christmas Eve as she's going around doing that for her children's stockings. And then she would wake up in the morning and the kids would come out and they'd open their presents and the family was there and everyone was opening their presents, and she would go over to her stocking and reach in and go, oh, look what Santa brought me. And her husband would turn white because he had been around this block before. And she would, oh my God, Santa brought me the most beautiful 2-carat diamond earrings. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is the most wonderful day. And her husband was basically in cardiac arrest at this moment. And no one could say anything. But with her, she told us these stories and they were absolutely classically hilarious. And I swear to you, from my perspective, and I could be wrong on this, but she is in a very long-term, very wonderful marriage to an incredibly generous, kind, and wonderful soul. But she knows what he does and what he doesn't do, and she fills in those blanks by herself when she needs to, and it becomes an amusing, funny story for the rest of us. So it's win, 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 win all over the place, you know.
Awesome. Great story. I love that. So moving in a bit of a different direction for our last, say, 5 to 10 minutes, let's talk about this. I always had an idea around Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day, the context of Valentine's Day is, I believe, relationship-based between two people generally. Maybe threesomes out there, I don't know.
Anymore, we don't need to even stop at 3. We can
exactly. True that.
Why stop?
Well said. We're big brain expanding our minds.
Yes.
What if the context, instead of just two people, was more holistic, as in like everybody, as in like love everyone or love yourself inclusive of you, self-love day, love everyone day. Instead of buying flowers for a significant other, what if you went and bought In-N-Out burger for the guy behind you? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think things are starting to move in that direction, and it's so refreshing. I got 2 texts this morning, from girlfriends, one that I swim with and I haven't seen in a while. And it was like, happy Valentine's Day. And
Oh.
it was just really nice. And that goes back to the classroom parties we had as children too. The whole class was celebrating it. We would make Valentines for our mothers. But even what you said, share some love with everybody. And it's true that when we focus out, the love that goes out feels identical to when love is coming in. And that was a concept that was life-changing for me. So when I'm sitting around worrying about, does somebody love me? I'm not getting any. If I turn around and go, what can I share? What can I do? Can I go out and, like you said, buy a coffee for that person over there, or pay for the next person in line behind me, or call a friend or text a friend, or send a little card to someone, or some type of appreciation gesture. If I can do that, it feels so good, because the act of genuine caring feels genuinely good. I thought about my CPA today. He retired, and it brings tears to my eyes. To think of the difference he's made in my life just by being himself. And he's like an angel to me. And I was so grateful. And the idea struck me, why am I keeping this to myself? Why don't I get a card and write that down and send it to him? That's what Valentine's Day should be about. And that, you just gave me the greatest idea. Because when we're off, I'm going to do it. I'm committing right now, not just thinking about it, not just talking about it, but what if I sat down and did that?
Beautiful. Yeah. And we could open the minds of our viewers out there to perhaps do the same thing. We used to do what was called it's stretch time, and have people go and stretches and buy coffee for the person behind them, or something like that.
Yeah.
And we opened this show talking about attachment between two people, or people in a relationship, very intimate type relationship. My experience outside in the world, there isn't much of an attachment, or whatever that attachment is, the bar is really low, where people, if you give them a compliment, they're like, whoa, I don't even know you, and you just complimented me.
Mm-hmm. Imagine,
right, taking that non-attachment that people have out there, implementing that into a relationship. I just thought,
yes,
that's powerful.
Yeah. If you just sat down and wrote a few notes, old-fashioned, hi, I was thinking about you, wasn't it great? My dad does that a lot. I'll get a little card from him, and when people are in their 80s, they're used to written correspondence that goes to the post office with a stamp on it, and I'll pick up a card from him, and it'll be reminiscing about all those camping trips we took when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's important to do that. It's important. I know I'm loved. There's not a day goes by that just because he moved back to Port Huron in Michigan, his hometown, just because he moved back there 20 years, 30 years ago, whatever it's been, has nothing to do with our bond together. And his cards mean a lot. Now, do I sit down and write him cards? No, I'm a selfish idiot. But after today's conversation, you start to see that matters. And when you put pen to paper, you're in the experience of that other person. You're acknowledging that other person. You're stretching your boundaries. You're expressing your feelings. And that can be vulnerable, but that's the only way to really be. It's the only way to actually connect. And so it can be a wonderful healing experience just to express, and rather than wait for the world to acknowledge and give love to you, to actually turn that around and give it to them.
The power of the pen.
Yeah.
Very well said. The power of the pen.
Yeah.
So, in wrap up, any final words that you would like to leave our viewers with on this beautiful, sunny Valentine's Day? Well, where I am, at least.
Number one, any expectation, and that I go to the couples thing only because I would cut off an arm to be able to help just one person not go through the bullshit I put myself through all those years ago. So those are the ones that where you're sitting there nervous or stressed over this whole Valentine's Day fiasco. Dropping the expectation. We can do that in hypnosis much easier than talking about it, but talking about it is a critical first step to go, that's not what I want. That any result I get from that is short-lived. Longer term results come from knowing that I want to feel completely comfortable no matter what that person does or does not do. That's way more powerful and way more within your control. So number one is to get that and to set that as a goal. The next thing then is to start to take little actions, make a couple of phone calls, write a couple of cards to somebody that, you know, they used to say this in church back when I used to go to church. I haven't gone to church in God knows how long, but to bring to mind those people who are in your hearts right now. And just even saying that, who are those people who are in your hearts right now? And the most random people will pop into your mind. Like for me, it was my CPA of all people. I didn't know that he was going to pop into my mind. Those are the ones. Reach out.
Okay, cool. So the takeaway, drop those expectations and attachments.
Yes.
Connect with someone. And
yes.
Perhaps somebody who comes to mind is someone you haven't connected with in a long time or not even thought about. So
yes. And for my married friends, stuff your own stockings. And in front of the children, thank Santa Claus.
Yeah. Santa Claus is a very powerful, magical being. And who says Santa Claus only comes out and plays during the December holidays? Perhaps Santa Claus plays, maybe he's Cupid too. Or maybe
year-round.
You know, he's the groundhog that pops out, you know? Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. Anything is possible. As I've seen in this world, anything is possible.
Yeah.
So, thank you. This was a powerful conversation. I enjoyed it greatly.
Me
and
too.
for you viewers out there, subscribe to the channel below. Janna has many videos that come out talking about just as this powerful topics. And we do this show every Sunday. So watch for our live viewings coming up, and we'll take questions. Anyone have questions, you can interact with us. We'll take Q&A, and it's going to be super fun.
And your comments, if there's a topic that we haven't covered that is on your mind, a situation you're going through that you'd like to share, let me know in the comments. I can either, I can keep your name out of it if you'd rather stay anonymous or not, but if there's a specific thing, I mean, this is like free HypnoTalk advice. So
Hey,
you know, just let me know.
Doing this. I
we'll
want
cover
to
it.
get no advice. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Janna. This is incredible. Have a great rest of your day, and I wish you good tidings on the letter that you're going to write.
Absolutely. I'm glad I said that publicly. Now I'll do it.
You declared it, so
I did.
Awesome. We'll talk next week. Until then, peace.
Peace.